Hello guys, welcome back. Mr. Caleb here. I want to teach you about the laws of indices. Basically we have the three basic laws of indices. This is law number 1, number 2, and number 3. Well, these are not the only laws of indices. We have other laws of indices. They're not just three, so these are just the basic ones. Okay, so the first law here, we usually call it the law of multiplication, simply because you're usually multiplying two or even more numbers. We call it the law of multiplication. Then number 2, we call it the law of division, because we are simply dividing two numbers, the law of division. And then law number 3 that we'll learn, that is we call it the law of multiplying powers. You see, we have a number here, we have power, close the bracket, outside we have another power. So whatever you're seeing on the other side, we are multiplying the two powers. That's why they call it the law of multiplying what? The powers, the law of multiplying powers. But guys, today we're going to look at the first law of indices. The first law of indices, that is the law of multiplication. This is the first law, indices, the law of multiplication. So let us look at this law. We have a number here, we have another number, we are multiplying. That one is simplified to whatever we are saying here. So let us try to understand what is happening here. But before that, what do we call this m and n? What do we call m and n? We call them powers. We call them powers. We know them, right? We call them powers. But also m and n, we refer to them as indices. That is where the name is coming from here. We refer to them as indices. Indices, that is when there are many powers, many. But when it is one power, we call it an index. So that is where the name is coming from. So we can refer to m and n as indices or as powers. Indices or powers. Okay, and now let us come to this, whatever we are saying here, a. Yes, these are a, right? But what is the name given to whatever we are seeing here? These numbers here, these letters we are seeing here, what is the name given to them? We refer to them as bases. Maybe we can write that here. We refer to them as what? Bases. Bases. Okay, we've been learning chemistry. Yeah, also here we have bases. These are our bases. So this a, we refer to them as bases. This is base a, power m, or index m. Base a, power m. Base a, power m. Okay, so this is base a raised to power m times base a raised to power n is equal to base a raised to power m plus n. So what did I do here? So in this first law of multiplication, whenever you're handling two bases, these are two, actually, okay, they're the same bases but two numbers, but they have the same what? The same bases. Whenever you're multiplying, first the bases have to be the same. The bases must be what? The same. For this law to work out, these bases must be the same. So first identify that base, in this case base a. So first we write our base. After writing our base, now we come to the powers. Usually we don't care whether the powers are the same or not. The bases are the ones which must be the same. So we identify the base, write the base. When we come to the powers, whenever we are multiplying, we simply now add the powers. So identify the base, write the base, then when it comes to the powers, we simply add what? The powers. It is as simple as that. But remember, the bases must be the same. What if the bases are not the same? We will look into that as we go on. So let us look at an example here. For example, I have a raised to power 2 multiplied by a raised to power 3. A raised to power 2 multiplied by a power 3. How do we simplify that? First, you have to check if the bases are the same. Are they the same? Are they the same? Yes, the bases are the same. So we write our base first, that is base A. How do we handle the powers? Whenever we are multiplying, we add the powers. So that is 2 plus 3. What is 2 plus 3? 2 plus 3, 5. 5. That is correct. That is the first example. Okay, let us look at another example. Maybe we have 2 raised to power 3 times 2 raised to power negative 4. And let us look at the bases. Are they the same? Of course. What is our base? Base 2. So we write our base first, base 2. Then since we are multiplying, we add the powers. 3 plus negative 4. 3 plus negative 4. That gives you negative 1. Correct. Negative 1. That is correct. Now we come to the question that we are asking earlier on. What if the bases are different? How do we handle that? Let us look at another example whereby the bases are different. Let's say I have 3 power 2 multiplied by 27. 3 power 2 multiplied by 27. This is base 3, base 27. The bases are different. How do we solve that, students? Very simple. Whenever the bases are different, like in this case, identify the bigger number, the bigger base, 27, then express it in terms of its prime factors. Express the bigger base in terms of its prime factors. I think we did that in form 1. Okay, we are going to express it here. 27, we can use the three factor method. So the smallest number that can divide 27, that is 3 times 9. Okay, the smallest number can divide 9, that is 3 times 3, gives you 9. Okay, and here we are simplifying with 3 times 1. Okay, so 27 is the same as 3 times 3 times 3. How many 3's are you seeing there? 3 3's. There are 3 of them. All right, so 27 is the same as 3 raised to how many times? 3. 3 raised to power 3. Remember, 3 raised to power 3 is the same as 3 times 3 times 3. Okay, so it is good that we write it in power form. So we need to write that in power form. So now that means instead of 27 here, we are going to replace the whole of this with 3 power 3. So let us write again the question by replacing 27 with 3 power 3. So we're going to have that as 3 power 2, this one here, times, instead of 27 we have 3 power 3. Okay, so now this one becomes more simple, right? The base is not the same. What is our base? Base 3. Write the base. How do we handle the powers? We add them. That is 2 times 3. That gives you power what? Power 5. Correct. So that is the first law of multiplication. So next we will go through the second law, the second law of indices, and that is the law of division.